And thanks for joining us for the Market Day Report. Good morning once again. Well, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is commending the White House for working to strengthen ag security. Through a national memorandum, the federal government will now identify threats facing the food supply chain and develop new ways to mitigate them. Well, NCBA CEO Colin Woodall joins us now with further perspective on the matter. And Colin, as always, thanks for your time here this morning. Now, you actually participated in a White House pre-briefing, I understand, ahead of the memorandum signing. Can you give us a brief recap?
So it was a great opportunity to sit down with the National Security Council, the FBI, the Department of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, not your usual attendees of an agriculture meeting in the White House. But it was great to hear all of those agencies come out and say quite clearly that they understand that food security is national security. So that means that they are willing to step up and help identify threats and better help us as farmers and ranchers be prepared to respond to those threats.
So what does this entail and what's it aiming to accomplish, short term, long term?
I think for us it's three things. One, it is using data to help decide where those threats are and how to respond. Data over political agendas is always preferable for us because we know it's going to be a much more solid approach to that response. But it's also about looking at the funding for things such as the Beagle Brigade, which is part of Customs and Border Protection, and the work that they do at ports of entries and also in airports to keep us safe and to prevent food from coming in that could carry foot and mouth disease, and for also making sure that the administration is clear to Congress that the foot and mouth disease vaccine bank, something that we worked so hard in the last Farm Bill to get put in place, is something that needs to be maintained.
Colin, if you drill this down to what it means for beef producers right there at home on the farm and ranch, what would you say?
What it means is that the government is stepping up to help make sure that we have the research we need to identify the threats, and more importantly, to respond to the threats quickly and to do so in partnership with us. That way we know that our views and our input will be heeded as we look at things such as the potential reintroduction of foot and mouth disease. So overall, I think that kind of commitment to be partners rather than just dictating to us what the response will be is a very positive development.
Colin, it sounds like this is really tackling, of course, a big issue for the food industry as a whole. Is there anything else on the wish list that you guys are working on in this direction of food security as well?
It's just continued funding for research, and I think that's especially true as we go into this next Farm Bill. Sometimes the research title is rated for other things, and while all those other programs are important, we know that research at places such as the Agricultural Research Service and also through our land-grant universities is so important to help not only identify those threats, but more importantly, come up with ways that we can develop vaccines to beat back or combat those threats to keep us safe as producers.
All right, Colin, as always, thank you very much for your insight today. We appreciate it. CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Colin Woodall, on the phone with us today out of Denver. Go online to beef.org for more information.